This guy, this guy just friended me on Facebook. I don't know how he found me. Just guessing he probably found me on YouTube. That's where I get the biggest audience. That's where the most people find me. They find me on YouTube, so I'm guessing he found me on YouTube. But he tried to friend me on Facebook, and so I sent him a message, which I generally do before I just accept people's friendship on Facebook, because I don't want to have people on my Facebook that are going to hack into my computer. And generally, if they're going to hack into my computer, then they're not going to send me a message. Some of them do. Some of them that are going to hack into my computer through Facebook, they'll send me a message. But most of them that are going to try to hack into my computer, they don't. I'm saying this because I've experienced it, that for a little while there was like a bunch of people, one right after the other, that they sent me a message, or they sent me a friend request. I accepted them as my friend. They started sending me messages, and then, like, as soon as they started sending me messages, there was, I don't know, my browser was being hacked, that it was being indicated by my antivirus software. And so I just closed the browser, I deleted them from my Facebook friends, and then the next time I was, then I went for a long while without having anybody try to hack into my computer. And then a little while later, I got a message apparently from another hoax account on Facebook, and I accept the friendship, and then they start sending me messages, and immediately my antivirus software. So this happened a couple times that people they were sending me friend requests. Then as soon as they start chatting with me, so I guess what they're doing is they're using Facebook's friend facility to hack their way onto people's computers. So that's why it is that when I get a friend request, I don't just immediately accept it. I send them a message first, and if they respond and they seem like a real person, then they're like sharing interest in whatever, I'll definitely friend them. But I don't know. So started out kind of big with like a lot of info on this friend request, which most of it pertained to like cleansing nuke meltdown out of your system. And I went into a lot, pretty much everything about how to be immortal. And so figured it's been a long time that I've been thinking I should do this video, and I figured I would do this video now. And now that I typed it all out, I was thinking it was going to be a lot more complicated than it turns out to have been, what I put into this message. But I don't know, then I had some considerations in the midst of creating this message, and I realized how very simple it is. This is like I don't know, it's probably like a 5-step process. There's like 20 things you gotta learn, and then it'll be real tough to put death on you. Like the earlier you learn all this stuff in life, like the better chance you have of applying it towards securing yourself in this existence. And like the later in life you go without knowing most of this stuff or any of this stuff, it's like the more likely it is that you'll be destroyed before you have any chance to get to learn this stuff. Anyhow, here it is. This is my message to Justin Langevin, Langevin, Langevin. Maybe that's Langevin. Justin Langevin? Yeah, that sounds right. So started out. Oh, I went to his profile, and he was complaining that he sneezed and he threw his back out of whack. That he injured his back by sneezing. So I sent him this message saying, "You sneezed your back out of whack? Dang, dude, that sounds rough. I'm wondering if what you did is shook the nuke toxins in your body around under pressure, so they tore through more tissue. There's a nuke meltdown that's been raging for about 3 years now, right? Fukushima nuclear meltdown. If you've been following my videos, I'm sure you know. All that nuke tox is in the food, especially meat and veggies with a large surface area like broccoli and cauliflower. You should eat thick veggies like eggplant and zucchini and oranges and skinned apples. The nuke fallout is raining down constantly, and over the US, as an average, it's about 200 counts per minute. Higher on the west coast than the east, but still very bad on the east coast. You can check the level of your nuke exposure at netc.com. That's a Nuclear Emergency Tracking Center. They have a lot of lying, dysfunctional nuke meters on that map, so don't trust any of them that are reading under 70 CPM, 70 counts per minute, nuclear radiation. That's the federal empire hosting dysfunctional nuke meters to throw people off, make them think the air outside is breathable. It's not. The air is devastating nuke tox right now, globally. Anybody who is treating it like it's normal is going to be dead in the next decade. Lung cancer is about to spike. To cleanse the nuke toxins out of you, put a 1/4 teaspoon borax in a gallon of water, shake it up, drink it across 3 days or so. I just realized I didn't tell him to filter his water, but that's highly important. You know, I'm going to send him a message right after I get done making this video. Repeat, oh, you know what else is? You can filter your air, that will help out. You know, spend most of your time indoors, filter your air. If you're going to work out, which I actually don't recommend working out because you're like jostling your bones. When you bang your bones, that you're like banging your bones into your bones, then you're making microfractures in the bones. And so whatever nuke tox might be circulating through your bloodstream is going to be getting lodged in your bones into the microfractures. It's going to become part of you, and then it's going to be there radiating your tissue for a long time. So, you know, as much as you can, work out right now. You know, if like it's absolutely critical to you to be in shape, like, you know, if somebody's trying to beat you up on a daily basis or something like that, you know, I say just stay in your house. But you know, because they're gonna be dead in a little while anyhow. But you know, yeah, there's a solution for it. You know, which is that you don't work out, so you don't even get those microfractures. You don't get cesium and radioactive iodine and radioactive plutonium or uranium. You don't get those lodged in your bone in the microfractures as your blood is circulating past them. In a gallon of water, shake it up. Or, okay, where am I on this? Yeah, put a 1/4 teaspoon borax in a gallon of water, shake it up, drink it across 3 days or so. Repeat 1 time per week until your head feels clear again. To slough off the cancerous tissue that was formed by your exposure to the nuke tox by 8% food-grade hydrogen peroxide, eBay has good prices. Put a cap in a gallon of water and drink that on the days of the week you're not drinking your borax water. I should say this about the borax water, that if your head is heavy with a lot of nuclear toxins and that borax is pulling them all out of your system all at one time, then it's going to be busting up your tissues on the way, and so you might get a headache to be drinking even just a tiny little bit of borax. So, you know, if you're getting headaches, you just cut back the dosage. You know, make it less than it was that you did that gave you a headache, and you know, you should be able to do that. You know, cut it in half. So instead of a 1/4 teaspoon, make it 1/8 of a teaspoon. You know, if 1/8 of a teaspoon is giving you a headache, in a gallon of water across 3 days, you know, which it shouldn't be, but you know, then make it a 1/16 of a teaspoon. You know, you might have to go for longer. That like if you have to do it at like a 1/16 of a teaspoon, it might take you like some months to get your head clean. You know, that your head feels light again, that you're clear of all that nuke tox. Anyhow, returning to this, let me see, I was just talking about the hydrogen peroxide, food grade hydrogen peroxide, 1 cap of it in a gallon of water. And I'm on to rejuvenate your tissues, bust a nut. Bust a nut 3 times per day to keep the swimmers in your sack small. Newer equals smaller. Higher density of newer swimmers means they can find ways out of your sac into your bloodstream. Sperm are stem cells. They can become any cell in your body. In your bloodstream, they travel your whole body and become any tissue where they might lodge. So if you clear your sac daily, getting it on with your girlfriend or tossing off, whatever it takes, then you restore your youth, which is in actuality one of the keys to immortality. It's one of the medical keys to immortality. It's part of the medical solution. The other medical keys are you have to detox and destroy any life form that's a parasite on your system. The detox, that borax treatment, that should get the metals out of your body. Those are like the primary detoxers. All that water will get like any type of water soluble chemistry out of your body. You know, I didn't include like an oil detox. I forgot to mention that you like consume ozonated olive oil, like a quarter pint or something like that, once a week for 3 weeks, something like that. And I don't know, there's even like toxic oils and toxic sludge that might be in your body, and you can clear that stuff with like a drop of Bronner's hemp soap to a gallon of water. Do that like once a week for like 3 weeks or something like that. Forgot to make mention of those to him in this about the detox. So you gotta get like the water soluble, the oil, and the oil soluble and the oil toxins out of your body, and you gotta get the metals out of your body. It's a process called chelation if you want to do some more research on it, which can be done by like EDTA, or if you want to do it totally natural, then you would do it with like apple pectin. You can eat like the inside of the rinds of oranges, like that white tissue. That's all pectin. And organosulfur, so like onions or garlic salt. Turmeric is real good for getting metals out of your body, metals that should not be in your body, stuff like mercury, stuff like uranium and plutonium and lead, all that stuff. You got to get it out of your body. Otherwise, you will build up a higher and higher amount of it, and it will kill you. It'll make your glands not function very well. It'll make your brain not function very well. And eventually, by under those stresses that your glands aren't producing the appropriate hormones and just like the liquids, the juices that your very healthy a very healthy body will produce in order to perform certain functions, like the thyroid produces growth hormone when you have adequate iodine and manganese. Manganese being rich in nuts. So like peanuts are growing in the ground, so I don't recommend peanuts so much right now because of this nuke fallout. But like a tree nut with a shell, whatever type of tree nut with a shell you might consume, that would be a lot better than peanuts. And returning to this. The other medical keys are you have to detox and destroy any life form that's a parasite on your system. That's done by Parasite Cleanse, which you can get at onelifeusa.com. They have the best prices I've seen on Parasite Cleanse, which is 3 herbs, wormwood, black walnut hull, both of which kill a wide range of worm parasites, and clove, which dissolves their eggs, so you don't get reinfected after you killed all the adult parasites in your system. You probably also need to cleanse Candida, which 99% of people are infected with globally. You can do that by drinking grapefruit juice daily through that, or though that will take a long while. but you can speed it up by adding a bit of grapefruit seed extract to your grapefruit juice carton. The viruses and bacteria are all prone to being exploded by food-grade hydrogen peroxide. Clearing a bunch of toxins all at once with H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, can make you feel a bit queasy, but once you get through that, hydrogen peroxide will actually give you an oxygen high, sharpen your intellect, sharpen your vision, and put some pep in your step, all without any ill feeling. You want to be careful with all these recommendations. Don't exceed the recommended dosage, because at high doses some of this stuff is toxic, upwards of deadly. But at the recommended dosage, it's therapeutic and certainly beneficial. So that's pretty much all the medical protocols necessary to secure immortality. Beyond that, you have to be well with society, treat people fairly, be decent. Fail in that and you'll lose support of people who might have interrupted plots against you, and you might piss some people off bad enough to want to kill you. For example, these murderous clowns in the Federal Empire, the murderous swine, the swine who don't care that their buddies are murderers, and so on. Don't align with these dirty people, because they've already been set up to destruction, and they're just going to drag you down with them if you promote their murderous cause in the least. Beyond that, learn self-defense and survival techniques, stuff like striking, grappling, blade combat, gun combat, fitness, qualifying wild foods, building shelter from wild fixings. Make preparations to facilitate all those skills, stuff like buy a gun, bullets, body armor, machete, entrenching tools, sandbags, tarps, compass, survival knife, flint. Study the most basic way to build fire, blowing on cupped kindling under an ember from the platform of an Egyptian bow drill. Don't use standard bow drill technique, as it's too much friction on your line. Egyptian bow drill technique is by far superior. Do and learn all that, and the murderous chiefs will find it a real challenge to mount and destroy you. How'd you find me anyhow? Yeah, I don't know, beyond just not making enemies, which I mentioned up there, you gotta make a bunch of friends. Like, I just shared all this with him. What he would best do to make a bunch of friends is to share this with as many people as he can. That, he just tell everybody how it is that you go about being immortal. And, then, especially as time passes and lots of people succeed with, this immortality challenge, the influence of all his friends will become more and more. All these people who, he did well by sharing with them, how it is that you go about securing yourself and securing your life. I don't know, that's what he would best do. It's like the absolute most important thing he could do toward securing his own immortality. And what a lot of people do, though, what they fail in, is instead of, go research this knowledge, realize that everything that I've stated here is an absolute fact, recognize how important it all is, and recognize that they can save themselves from death with this. Instead of do that, they just accept whatever it is that, the Federal Empire comes at them with as a deal to screw me over. Because people are so stupid, they want money rather than, to be here in 1,000 years, that, they, as it is, the deal that they're taking is no kind of great deal. They're gonna, most of the people that have, tried to destroy me, messed with me, based on the Federal Empire, giving them whatever it took, they probably only got a couple $100. It's probably an average of $1,000 or something. I'm sure that there was some high-priced people in there that went messing with me, like my landlord right now. This guy that he's working in conjunction with Stenger, the owner of J Peak. He tried to murder me the first season I was here. First season I lived in Newport, Vermont. I was going up to J Peak on a regular basis, and every time I went up there was an unmarked trail that was a deadly hazard. And I don't know, I was able to avoid it all, just barely by the skin of my teeth. And they they persisted in it through the whole season. And like my favorite trail, I witnessed somebody, I noticed one day that there was like poor conditions on this trail at like the bottom of the hill. They had like waxed a rail and somebody broke their arm. I don't know, I seen him go down. I was right there. I witnessed him fall and break. Like, I heard it crack. And then he was laying there in the snow, and then the snow patrol responded to him, or ski patrol responded to him, and the word went out on the mountain that guy had broken his arm that day. And I don't know. It's like all this treachery that was aimed at me by this guy Stenger. That every of 12 times I went to his mountain, there was a trail that was deadly wrecked and it was unmarked. Normally, what they would do, being if they were a responsible ski slope, is if there was like a sheet of ice down a hill with absolutely no powder covering on it, that it was like a sheer face. That it's like what would that be like? From noontime, be like 100, nearly 180 degrees, like 170 degrees or something. So it's like almost straight downhill. It's like nearly a cliff. And they instead of mark these icy trails, they would leave the icy trails open. And so you go over like the ridge of a hill, and then you see that you're coming up on ice, and it's impossible for you to avoid going right across it. And then you just try to get your board as flat as possible, and you know that you're coming out the other side with like a ridiculous amount of speed, and that you're going to be heading into the woods. And so I don't know, that like if you have time to before you go across this ice sheet, then you might throw yourself on the ground instead of go across the ice sheet and hope that you can steer away from the woods before you get there. But there might be some hope to like do a fall on the other side of the ice sheet. And you can fall right on the ice sheet too, although that's like, if you're not real strong, you might injure yourself that way. And so I don't know, if you do fall on the ice sheet, you want to get your board downhill so that you can brake as soon as you get to the other end of the ice sheet. And then if you fall face first, that you're face first going downhill, you still want to use your board to brake. Like, you want to try to dig your feet into the ground as best you can. Yeah, I'm talking about snowboarding, obviously, not skiing. But like the one thing you absolutely do not want to do is to go launching into the woods after you fly off an ice sheet and smash into a tree. But people kill themselves. They kill themselves skiing and snowboarding like every year. And they were setting up these deadly conditions. They got all kinds of snowmaking equipment up there. They could have powdered those areas, but rather than do that, and rather than mark them off, they would leave them open and not bother to powder them. Yeah, so Stenger, in my estimation, he made many attempts on my life the first season I was here. He even gave me a real good deal. He gave me half off for being a veteran. And then he tried to kill me. Yeah, so, I don't know, what was I even saying? Oh yeah, I was talking about, like, people that were, they like, attempting to murder people. Yeah, so I remembered what it was that I was gonna say about the whole Stenger situation, which is that, I don't know, he has promised to this community $865 million that is to be spent in the Northeast Kingdom toward revitalization, that they're going to make this place alive again. And yeah, that's a whole other lesson, how to restore life to dead beings. It's possible. You know what they're up to now is like a day to 2 days. That like if you put a person on ice immediately after they die, then like they'll still be viably restored within 2 days. That's like, I don't know, that's not like the emperors. They're the real emperors. It's my belief that there's somebody above the Rothschilds, even though they seem to be the banking emperors, and they got their hands in all the militant treachery, and of course they got their hands in the political treachery, being the banker chiefs. To like anybody who doesn't understand that the situation is a lot older than thousands of years, they would seem to be the very top dominant. But to me, recognizing that like, this situation might have gone on for hundreds of millions of years, there's like, what is it called? OOP art, out of place artifacts, OOP art, and there's like screws that were discovered in, they were embedded in coal that was some hundreds of millions of years old. It was like a hammer, like a very well distinguishable hammer that was embedded in some fossilized stone, and I don't know. There's like a bunch of different out of place artifacts that like things that do not fit with the era that corresponds to the place where they were dug out of the ground. So let me think. There's like some human footprints. There's a giant human footprint, another out of place artifact. I think the oldest of them though is about 600 million years old, and I can see how there might have been like some human treachery on this planet for 600 million years. Giants or whatever. Maybe they're coming and going as as their solar system arrives on its closest approach to Earth. Probably the solar system of Sirius stars, the star system Sirius, which is 3 stars. Anyhow, yeah, there's these people that are apparently high-level millionaires and billionaires that I've been pissing off with all my publishing against banksterism, against the military-industrial complex, against this U.S. federal empire government, and I don't know. So they're obviously motivated to destroy me, and I don't know. There's like these local millionaires that they've been setting up these treacherous conditions, like Bill Stenger on his ski mountain, and I don't know. Then my landlord over here, there's Bill Stenger. He's trying to buy this building from my landlord, and my landlord has been torturing me too. That my landlord, he like rained sewage into my apartment a bunch of times, and I kept on calling over there, telling them that like the people upstairs, they're flooding my apartment, and the guy would come over and he was like, just so you know, this is sewage that like this was the overflow from the toilet. I was like, what in the hell? And they had done it a bunch of times, and it wasn't until that last time that he told me that it was sewage. Anyhow, yeah, so I don't know. I always use bleach when I clean the floor anyhow, but yeah, just the point remains that they're like obviously flushing biological toxins into my place, and I was calling over to the landlord's office, and I'm complaining about it, and like the second and third time that it happened, I made requests that they fix the floor upstairs. don't just come over here and tell the people not to overflow the toilet. Instead of do that, go up there and tell these people that you'll be back the next day to fix the floor so that the sewage can't just rain down into my apartment. Because there's apparently a hole in the floor upstairs, a hole through my ceiling, and the water that they would flood onto the floor would just rain right down here. So it's biological toxin, whatever it was that was in that guy's poo-poo, or in their toilet bowl, it's getting rained into my apartment. So he made those attempts on me. He shut off the heat here for 3 years in a row, and like I would fight him on it until like the spring, and then he would finally turn the heat back on, and then I would have the heat, so that like if the summer nights get cold, I'd be able to put the heater on. And they have been kind of cold. They've been real cold in recent years. They're down to like 40 degrees or something because we're going into an ice age. Anyhow, he would leave it on until like November, and then like as soon as it started getting cold, then he would shut the gas off to the gas heater. And like this place has a boiler heater, but the boiler heater doesn't heat this place at all. It's like freezing in here if you depend only on the boiler heater. So yeah, I don't know, he's been torturing me, and I think he thinks that if he tortures me enough, if I'm over here like stewing, angry, like disgusted with my landlord, disgusted with the conditions that he has put my apartment in, such as, I'll get pictures of that in a minute. They came over here one day, and they blew up my hallway. That, like, I called them and told them, because there's nobody left in this building except for me, because the guy's trying to sell it, and Spates refused to respect my rental agreement, that I just want my rental agreement transferred to another building, but he refuses. He wants to break his rental agreement with me, and he says he'll put me in another building, but he wants to charge me more. And, he wants to destroy this rental agreement, which I have, which is indefinite. He didn't set any expiration in my rental agreement. Yeah, so anyhow, yeah, so I figure what he's doing, all these little tortures for, is that, he's like, he's trying to get me to kill myself. I've seen this with a lot of people, that they're like, they'll do just like years and years of these bitty little tortures on me, that like, they're trying to make my life miserable. I'm not at all prone to suicide, and apparently, like, nobody has explained that to them. What they're doing, though, what they're really doing is they're setting themselves up to death because, like, instead of, me share with them the solutions to their problems, I'm just not even going to communicate with them. And so, ultimately, they're going to fall prey to something. And most people, it's going to be to like eating meat, that because they chose to not be personable with me, they're going to continue eating meat, and they're going to build up the fat, animal fat is solid at human temperature. And so if you eat meat, you build up fat because it can't find its way out of your body and just stay as a solid in your bloodstream. And so, that's what will happen to most people that decide not to try to be cool with me. Instead, they try to piss me off for years at a time or something. And I'll even give them hints or whatever. I'll be like, you eat dead things, right? You're trying to piss me off, but you eat dead things. And so, how do you think life is going to go for you? I don't know. But, yeah, so there's a bunch of people in my past that have done this to me, that they suffer me years of minor abuses, trying to, build up, my level of, depression or something. And I'm not real prone to depression either. I don't get depressed. I don't know, I stay busy, I stay active. I do this publishing effort. I don't know, in recent months, because I'm trying not to do a bunch of physical fitness, I've been doing chess, or I was on this game Plarium until they just booted me today. I don't know, it's I check my Facebook, I repost a lot of the stuff that I find on there, all the stuff that I agree with. My friends on Facebook, they make a bunch of posts, especially political stuff I tend to repost. But yeah, so I don't know, I stay busy, I stay mentally active. If I think of something that I might need to understand, then I do some research on it in order to be able to figure it out. Stuff like how to alkalize water, how to ozonate water, how to ozonate oil, how to liberate hydrogen fuel from salt water, and I don't know, how to form a little blowtorch, a little hydrogen blowtorch, to be able to do some welding with hydrogen. I don't know, one of my older research projects, I studied how to qualify wild foods, which is real easy. First, you some food that you find in the wild, you take it, if you're gonna eat the leaves, and you take a leaf and you rub it on whatever part of the plant you do this test with it. You rub it on your wrist, the naked part of your wrist, and then you wait 20 minutes, and if it doesn't give you a rash, then you rub it on your lips. Then you wait 20 minutes, and if it doesn't give you a rash on your lips, then you take the tiniest little piece of it, and you chew it off, and you chew it up a little bit in your mouth, and then you spit it out, and then you wait 20 minutes, and then if it didn't give your mouth any type of ailing condition, you take another similarly small piece of it, and you chew it up, and you swallow it, and then you wait 24 hours. And if it doesn't give you any type of indigestion or ailing condition, then you have qualified a wild food. You can eat that. And so what you might do is, if you're trekking through the woods, then when you come to something that you're going to test it, you see a bunch of it there, you don't know if you're going to come across it again in your trek, you gather it all up. You gather whatever it is that you want to carry with you, and then the next day, after the 24 hours, you'll know whether it's a food or not. And the more you get to learn the wild foods around the area that you're in, the more you just you'll be able to just eat the wilderness. Although right now, I really wouldn't trust it unless you know that you got the borax and the food grade hydrogen peroxide to do the cleanse. Get the nuke contamination out of your system, because all of this stuff, the whole planet is getting nuclear fallout. All that cesium. So yeah, there's all that. You just yeah, you just do your best. Do your best to be decent to people, and learn how to defend yourself, because while you're being decent to people, people are gonna be like, they're gonna be challenging you, them being scumbags, and they're like, they're living these treacherous lives, locking people in cages for having a plant, and whatever else it is that they're doing. They're like the swine, the court system, the politicians, all those people, they're going to be trying to destroy you because they're so scummy. And I don't know, so they'll be like sending you biological warfare, they'd be like sending you toxins. Like, this building I'm living in is rich with what's it called? I want to say arsenic, but I know that's not it. Asbestos is another A word. Yeah, asbestos. They got, I don't know what it is. I'm guessing that it's like the tiles on the outside of the building and maybe the tiles on the floor out here, and probably the worst of it is the insulation in the walls, because I seen inside this wall over here what looks to be asbestos insulation. It's like really, really old. It's like gray, and it's just like if you touch it, it just falls apart. So like even with the wind passing it, it's carrying that stuff into the air, and I'm like breathing it into my lungs. So when I had this all found out, I like taped up this I taped up like this air intake so that like the air is not coming through the ceiling right there. There's some like holes in like the floor, in the walls, and I don't know, I like do my best to keep it covered. Sometimes like the duct tape that I will put across it will like dry out and then just come off, and so I gotta like stay on it to keep the asbestos out of my apartment. Especially the insulation asbestos. That's the worst. It's like real light. It's like airy, that it can be carried through the wind very easily. Yeah, so that's Doug Spates, my slumlord. That's his attempt on my life, and now him and this other guy, Stenger, who tried to kill me the first season I was here, they are combined trying to kill me. That they got like this real estate deal where they're trying to throw me out into this Fukushima nuke air, and they're trying to like force me to live in the wild of Vermont. Yeah, that like, I don't know, at least my water won't have fluoride in it anymore. Although, yeah, because I'll probably just collect the rain. But the winters are gonna be a bitch. It gets down, like this winter it got down to worse than negative 20 degrees. I think it was negative 22 degrees or so. Yeah, and that's what they're trying to subject me to, is the Fukushima fallout and the oncoming ice age. And this is their final attempt on my life, I'm pretty sure. Like, after this, I don't think that they're gonna keep messing with me. However it turns out, whether I beat them in this legal challenge, or whether the legal challenge rages on, that I gotta go to another court, or even if they beat me in the legal challenge and I get tossed out into the wild here, I don't think that they're gonna mess with me again after this. Yeah, and Doug Spates, his brother, died in October, and if he'd have been personable with me, then his brother probably wouldn't have ate all that nuke toxin. I'd have mentioned to him at some point that there's all this nuke fallout coming from Fukushima, and that he should tell his family not to eat that stuff. I'd have made some effort to let him know, if he was my friend, but instead he wants to be my adversary, and so he wants to try to kill me across years. But yeah, dumb.